All right, so let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at a source that presents Tibetan Buddhism in a way you've probably never seen it before. We're talking not just as a religion or some ancient philosophy, but as a full blown cosmic adventure, a quantum quest into what reality even is. So you might want to grab your imaginary explorer hat, because this is going to be a pretty wild ride.
So, right out of the gate, the source just drops this wild question on us. I mean, it's a super bold claim, and it totally makes you stop and think, right? This is basically our call to adventure for today. It's challenging us to look at this ancient tradition through this surprisingly modern scientific lens. Let's see where this goes. So, who's the guy at the center of this wild claim? Well, it's Guru Padmasambhava, who you might also know as the Lotus-born master. And according to the source we're looking at, his teachings, they weren't just some abstract spiritual ideas. No, they were a direct dive into the nature of reality. A reality that, get this, supposedly mirrors what quantum physics is discovering today. And that, right there, is the core idea we're going to be unpacking. All right, so let's officially kick off this adventure. The thing to remember is this material doesn't read like a textbook. It's not dry theory at all. Instead, it's framed as a personal quest for you, a journey to really feel and understand how everything is connected. The way the source does this is actually really cool. It follows a character, a curious kid named Tenzin, who's on this, you could call it a virtual quest, to find the Lotus-born master. And this is such a smart way to tell the story because it invites us, you and me, to step into Tenzin's shoes. We get to be the explorer, piecing together this huge cosmic puzzle. Now, you know how it is in any great adventure story, right? The hero always needs a guide, a mentor figure who shows up with some wisdom, maybe a little bit of magic. Well, in this cosmic adventure, our guides have a special name. They're called Dakinis. Okay, so what exactly is a Dakini? Well, the formal definition is a female deity that represents this enlightened energy. But the way our source talks about them, it makes them way more approachable and honestly, a lot more fun. They're not some distant, untouchable beings. No way. They're active players in our quest. And they wear a lot of hats. I mean, the source calls them everything. They're magical guides, they're superheroes of the spiritual world. They're even called your cosmic friends, or, and I love this, your spiritual BFFs. It's this kind of language that just completely changes how you see them. They go from being these complex deities to your own personal, powerful allies who are right there with you. Okay, so we've got our guides, our spiritual BFFs are by our side. What's next on the quest? Well, now it's time to learn some new skills. The source calls them the cosmic arts, which sounds pretty awesome, right? These are the actual practices that are going to help us start seeing reality in a totally new light. And the first one is something anyone can do. It's called sky gazing. And no, it's not just, staring up at the clouds. The source describes it as opening a window to the universe. It's this active practice of really connecting with that huge open space above you. And in doing that, connecting with the vastness that's inside you, too. And getting started is so simple. Seriously, you just find a good spot, get comfy, and then the fun part starts. You just look, imagine, and play. The source literally encourages you to find shapes in the clouds, make up your own constellations. Just let your imagination run wild. It's all about using play to find this really deep connection. So, after you've gotten the hang of sky gazing, there's a more advanced set of practices. These are known as the 6 yogas of Naropa. And you can pretty much think of these as the graduate level courses in our little cosmic school. The one that everything else is built on is called Tomo. It's the yoga of inner fire. And yeah, you've probably heard those incredible stories about monks melting snow or drying wet sheets just with their body heat. But, and this is a huge point in the source, the real power behind that inner fire, the secret sauce, let's say, it's not some fancy breathing technique. It's compassion. That's the fuel. So, okay, we've got our guides, we've got our cosmic arts, but where is all this leading? What's the ultimate goal of this whole quantum quest? Well, it's a state of transformation so profound, the source calls it the rainbow body. And this is probably one of the most, just fascinating and mystical ideas in this entire framework. So what is the rainbow body? What does that even mean? Let's take a look. Well, the source has a really great, simple name for it.
the cosmic makeover, and it's described as this phenomenon where when a truly great master passes away, their physical body just dissolves back into its natural state. And what is that state? Pure, radiant light. Sometimes all that's left behind are the hair and nails. It's incredible. And this isn't just some abstract theory. The source tells stories about real people. There's one about a monk named Kempo Achose who was apparently known for being incredibly kind. And the story goes that when he passed, his body transformed into what was described as a shimmering tapestry of colors, a real-life example of this cosmic makeover. And there's another story about Ayu Khandro. The source calls her a princess of the cosmos. Her whole life was apparently about boundless joy. And just like Kempo Achose, her physical form was said to have transformed into a radiant display of light and color when she died. It just reinforces this idea that this is a real possibility. Okay, a cosmic makeover sounds, well, pretty out there and amazing. But what does that have to do with us, right now in our day-to-day lives? Well, this is the part where the source brings this whole grand cosmic journey right back down to Earth and right into our own inner universe. And this is the key takeaway, really. These practices, they're not just about achieving some far-off mystical goal years and years from now. They are practical, hands-on tools for dealing with the stuff we all struggle with every single day. You know, what the source calls the afflictions, things like anger, attachment, pride, all the mental blocks that hold us back. So how does that actually work? Well, take that practice of Tumo, the inner fire, for example. You can use it to work with these emotions directly. So for attachment, you imagine tossing it into an inner bonfire to let it go. For anger, you see those grumpy clouds transformed into love. It's a really clear, actionable system for using these big cosmic arts to, just clean up our own inner world. There's this quote from the source that I just think nails this idea perfectly. It says, "Your thinking is the clothes you wear for your personality. One who knows this will wear clean clothes every day." I mean, how great is that? It's such a simple way to think about it. Our thoughts aren't us. They're just what we're wearing. And these practices are basically how we choose to put on clean clothes every morning. And that really brings us to the end, where the source leaves us with a very direct, very personal question. After all this, the cosmic adventure, the quantum quest, it all comes down to a choice. It asks, are you curious or dull about life? Are you curious enough to go explore your own inner universe? Or are you okay with just letting it be? And that's a question only you can answer.